5 creepy tales from the Appalachian Mountains you shouldn't watch alone. The Appalachian Mountains are ancient, their misty peaks and shadowed hollows guarding secrets almost as old as the continent itself. While so many people are drawn to their beauty, a few unfortunate souls have discovered that these woods, they're home to more than just wildlife. The same isolation that shaped the unique culture of the region also gave birth to stories of the strange and supernatural. These are tales passed down through generations, told around a crackling fire on a dark night. They aren't just spooky stories, they're vessels of mountain folklore, culture, and a history steeped in hardship and mystery. Tonight, we're journeying into the heart of that darkness. These are 5 tales from the Appalachian Mountains that you probably shouldn't watch alone. Story 1. The Bell Witch Haunting. Our first story takes us to Adams, Tennessee, home to what might be the most infamous and thoroughly documented haunting in American history, the Bell Witch. It all started back in 1817, after John Bell and his family settled on their 320-acre farm. The peace and quiet were shattered one day when John Bell saw a bizarre creature in his cornfield, an animal with the body of a dog, but the head of a rabbit. He shot at it, but the creature just vanished. That was only the beginning. Soon, the Bell children reported seeing other strange things, like a girl in a green dress swinging from an oak tree and a bird of impossible size. The strangeness quickly moved inside their home. The family was tormented by a relentless, invisible force. They'd hear sickening noises, like chains dragging across the floor, dogs fighting, and something gnawing on their bedposts. It escalated from whispers to full-blown physical assaults. An unseen entity would slap them, pinch them, and yank the covers right off their beds while they slept. The entity, which eventually started speaking in a disembodied voice, seemed to focus its cruelty on John Bell and his youngest daughter, Betsy. It screamed insults at John and tormented Betsy, even pulling her hair and tying it to the bedpost. The legend grew so widespread that people traveled from all over to witness the haunting, with many leaving with their own terrifying stories. The entity claimed to be the spirit of a neighbor, Kate Batts, who felt cheated in a land deal, and it vowed to kill John Bell. In 1820, after a long and baffling illness, John Bell was found dead. Next to his bed was a vial of a strange black liquid the spirit claimed it had forced him to drink. The entity was reportedly heard laughing and singing mockingly at Bell's funeral. The legend is so powerful that John Bell's death is often cited as the only one in U.S. history to be attributed to a spirit, a claim that has cemented the haunting into infamy. Though the worst of it stopped after his death, the spirit promised to return. To this day, the Bell Witch Cave near the old farm is a pilgrimage site for seekers of the paranormal. From a vengeful spirit, our next story takes us into the remote peaks of North Carolina, where a mystery has baffled people for centuries. It's a phenomenon that blends scientific curiosity with chilling folklore, a silent, ghostly ballet in the night sky. Story 2. The Brown Mountain Lights. For well over 100 years, people have seen mysterious, silent orbs of light rising from the wilderness around Brown Mountain. These aren't just flickers. They are distinct, glowing spheres that float, hover, and sometimes pulse with color, with some witnesses even claiming they explode in the sky. While some researchers point to a disputed report from 1771 by a German engineer, the most widely accepted sightings began in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Despite numerous scientific investigations, the lights remain a total enigma. Back in 1922, the U.S. Geological Survey concluded the lights were just headlights from trains and cars. But that theory fell apart when massive floods in 1916 washed out nearby bridges and railways, yet the lights kept right on appearing. Other theories have suggested everything from swamp gas to ball lightning, but no single explanation has ever stuck. The lights are still seen and studied to this day. With science unable to give a clear answer, folklore has filled the void with its own haunting explanations. One of the most enduring legends comes from Cherokee tradition, which says the lights are the souls of their women, searching with torches for their husbands and sons lost in a great battle on the mountain long ago. Another popular tale claims they're the spirits of Civil War soldiers, forever lost in the misty peaks. Whatever their origin, natural phenomena or restless spirits, the Brown Mountain Lights are a powerful symbol of the deep mysteries these ancient mountains hold. Our third tale brings us to a place where two states meet, a city built on a border, and as the story goes, right on top of forgotten graves. It's a stark reminder that in Appalachia, the past is never really buried. Story 3, The First Ghost of Bristol. This local legend takes us to the Twin City of Bristol, which straddles the border of Tennessee and Virginia. Around 1853, a man named John H. Moore built one of the first stores in the new town. A year later, his wife had an encounter that would become the town's first recorded ghost story. One evening, she went out to their smokehouse and was frozen in fear by the silent figure of a Native American man standing right in front of her. He looked as real as any living person, but there was an unmistakable air of the supernatural about him. Terrified, Mrs. Moore watched as the spirit simply vanished. Adding to the mystery, the knife she'd been carrying was gone too. Deeply unsettled, she warned her husband not to dig a new well he was planning, sensing they were on sacred ground. But her husband was a practical man and dismissed her fears. He ignored her warning and hired men to start digging. They had barely begun when their shovels struck something hard. It wasn't rock. The workers had unearthed a human skeleton, and with it, Native American artifacts. They had stumbled upon a grave. The discovery sent a chill through the whole community and cemented the story of Mrs. Moore's ghostly encounter into local legend. The spirit wasn't a threat. It seemed to be a guardian, a silent protector trying to preserve the sanctity of its final resting place. The tale became a cautionary one, echoing a common belief in Appalachia. Don't disturb the ground you walk on, because you never know whose memory you might be desecrating. Our next account moves from towns and borders to the deep winding paths of the Appalachian Trail. Here, where civilization feels a world away, hikers share stories around the campfire, stories that feel a little too real in the oppressive darkness of the woods. Story 4, The Witch's Shack on the Ridge. Along the Appalachian Trail, hikers pass down whispers about a witch who lives on a remote, overgrown ridge. The legend is classic campfire folklore, warning children and travelers to be wary. It tells of a reclusive old woman in a rundown shack who was rumored to capture kids who wandered too far, using their bones for dark magic. It was the kind of story meant to keep children from straying, but for one group of boys, it became a dare. Fueled by that perfect mix of youthful skepticism and bravado, a boy and his friend decided to see for themselves if the witch was real. They hiked for over an hour until they reached the dreaded ridge. Just like the story said, the first sign they were close was the faint smell of wood smoke. They crept forward, their courage fading with every step, until they saw it. A tiny one-room shack, looking exactly as the legends described. Suddenly the door creaked open and an old woman emerged. She had patchy white hair, a hunched back, and a face that seemed carved from anger. The boys froze, completely terrified. This was no kindly grandmother. She stared at them with piercing eyes, and they didn't stick around to see what she wanted. They bolted, running as fast as they could back down the trail, convinced they had just escaped a curse. When they breathlessly told their parents, they were met with calm, rational explanations. It was just an old woman who valued her privacy, they were told, probably angered by their trespassing. But that logic never quite erased the terror of that moment. The legend lives on, a warning to those who hike the trail. Some places are meant to be left alone. For our final story, we journey into the scarred landscapes of West Virginia, to a place where industry has faded, leaving behind dark, empty wounds in the earth. This tale isn't a traditional piece of folklore, but an unsolved mystery so chilling it became one. Story 5, The Disappearance at the Old Mining Pits. This story comes from the hollows of West Virginia, a region dotted with the skeletal remains of abandoned coal mines. These dark, decaying tunnels are dangerous enough, but for one family, they became the site of a permanent haunting loss. The legend tells of a man who went exploring near a series of deserted mining pits and was never seen again. Search parties were organized. Rescuers combed the woods and braved the treacherous, collapsing tunnels, but they found no trace of him. His body was never recovered. The only clues left behind were deeply unsettling. Inside one of the mines, searchers supposedly discovered strange, cryptic symbols scrawled on the walls, graffiti that no one could decipher. The most chilling piece of the puzzle came from the last person to see him. This witness reported watching the man, for no apparent reason, calmly walk into the gaping black mouth of one of the deepest mine shafts and just keep going until the darkness swallowed him whole. He never came back. So what happened in that mine? Did he get lost in the labyrinth of tunnels? Did he meet with foul play? Or did he encounter something else in the profound darkness beneath the West Virginia hills? The lack of answers has allowed ghost stories to flourish, turning a tragic unsolved case into a modern legend. The abandoned mines now stand as a silent monument to his disappearance, a place where the veil between our world and whatever lies in the deep, dark earth feels terrifyingly thin. Conclusion. From vengeful spirits to unexplained lights and gateways to the unknown, the Appalachian Mountains hold their secrets close. The stories we've heard tonight are more than just tales to tell in the dark. They're echoes of the region's soul, a blend of history, tragedy, and a deep-seated belief in a world that exists just beyond our sight. They remind us that when you walk in these ancient woods, you are never truly alone. The mountains are watching, and they remember everything. If these stories sent a chill down your spine, please give this video a like and subscribe for more journeys into the unknown. The Appalachian region is filled with countless other tales, and we want to hear them. If you have a story of your own, or one that's been passed down in your family, please share it in the comments below. You never know whose experience will become the next legend whispered in the dark. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.